Children, how are you? Today we are going to learn ninth class 12th lesson, changing cultural traditions in Europe from 1300 to 1800 AD. This is the lesson name, changing cultural traditions in Europe 1300 AD to 1800 AD. Okay, children, we know Europe is a continent. Europe is a continent. Among 7 continents, Europe is a continent. This is the 6th largest continent among 7 continents. Now we are going to learn or discuss about Europe, how the Europe cultural traditions changed between 1300 to 1800 AD. Okay, see, during ancient period means up to 400 AD. Up to 400 AD, it was called as ancient period in Europe. Okay, and medieval period from 1400 AD to 1300 AD. This was called as medieval period, and early medieval period from 1300 AD to 1800 AD, and modern period is called as 1800 to present. It was called as modern period. Okay, this is very important. Note this list, okay, in your notebook. Next, the medieval world in Europe. The medieval world in Europe means how the society in Europe in medieval world. We can discuss that now. See, during the ancient period, most of the Europe, Egypt and Turkey, these most areas are controlled by the Roman Empire. The total area, most of the area in Europe was controlled by Roman Empire. And during this period, some cities like Rome and Alexandria, very much developed. And very much developed means in these cities economically, politically are very flourished. These two cities are very flourished during this period. And in Greece and Rome also, the sculpture, painting, building as well as literature, philosophy and science was very high in order. Okay, and means these Greeks are very intelligent people. They are very intelligent people, and they wrote many books. Also, and their paintings, buildings, structures are different. Okay, so like that in Greece and Rome, these in all aspects like sculpture, painting, building as well as literature and philosophy and science also, they are very intelligent and very much they have much knowledge. Okay, next, after 400 AD, Roman Empire declined, and no larger empire in Western Europe. So then after this 400 AD, what happened in Europe? Most of the cities declined. declined, and people also started living in villages. Why? Because their economy or economic background declined. Okay, so people also lived in villages. People also lived in villages. So at that same time, this Europe was dominated by a social system. By a social system that is called feudalism. Feudalism. Very important. Feudalism. So, in European society, this feudalism dominated the people very much. Okay. Feudalism means what? The total political power. The total political power was in the hands of warrior landlords. Warrior landlords. And these warrior landlords controlled the villages, total villages in the society, and also especially peasants. Peasants were controlled by these warrior landlords. Okay, and these peasants were treated as serfs. Serfs means slaves. Serfs means slaves. They were treated as slaves. Okay, and these peasants, they had to till the total lands of the warriors, and also they had to work in the workshops of landlords, warrior landlords, and also they had to fight for their landlords. These they were always in constantly at war with each other. Okay, in the European society, many landlords were there, warrior landlords were there. They had to protect their area. That's why they used peasants in their wars. So, like that, these peasants had to till the lands of the warriors, as well as they had to work in the workshops, and also they had to fight for their landlords. Okay, so like that, these landlords always are constantly at war with each other. Okay, and because of these wars, peasants had no security in that area. Okay, so they had to not only tilling the lands of warrior landlords, but also they had to take care of their families, and they had to till their own lands also. They had own lands. So they had to till the warrior landlords area, and also they had to till their own land also. Okay. Like that, in Europe society, peasants were treated as slaves, and also at the same time in Europe society, people were dominated by the Roman Catholic Church. Roman Catholic Church. That means church authorities also dominated people of the Europe in medieval. Roman Catholic Church authorities dominated people very much in Europe in medieval period, and these church priests, church authorities forced people to believe what they told them. Blindly, they forced to follow or to believe what they are telling. Blindly, they have to follow. So, like that, they forced the people. And after 1300 AD, 1300 AD, the total situation began to change in Europe society, and peasants fight against serfdom. They fought against serf, okay, or slavism, okay, and the control of lords and church also. So these European peasants or in European society, people has to face the problems not only from the landlords but also from the church authorities. Okay, so after 1300 AD, the total situation changed in Europe. How changed? People or peasants, mainly peasants, fight against the control of the lords and church and also serfdom. Okay, and in 1381, peasants revolted against landlords mainly. So this serfdom ended with this revolt mainly in England. In England, peasants fight against landlords. Okay, and like that in England started this revolt by the peasants. Then in other countries also, in Europe, in other countries also started revolt like this, in other countries also. So England people started this revolt against serfdom and against church authorities and against the landlords or warrior landlords, like that. In other countries also started this revolt, okay, and they also fought against their landlords, church authorities, and mainly against their serfdom, okay, and at that time in this European society, trade also increased, okay, and trade between European countries and to other countries like China, Arabia, India, and Egypt also developed. When after 1300 AD, after 1300 AD, when there was a revolt against their serfdom, then the total society began to change. Like that, trade also increased. Before that, previously we discussed, before that cities declined. After 1300 AD, cities what happened? Developed. Cities developed. Why? Because trade increased. That's why cities also developed. Okay, and trade between other countries also increased. Through municipalities, they themselves ruled. Why? Because they fought against serfdom. They fought against landlords. Okay, so in that society, total control was under the landlords. Okay, in the hands of landlords. But after revolting them, so they themselves ruled through municipalities. Okay, and in Europe at that same time, a new cultural movement began. A new cultural movement began to develop, which is called Renaissance. Renaissance or rebirth. Renaissance or rebirth. Okay, and people began to question religious priests also. Okay, before that, before revolting, they blindly followed or believed the church authorities. But after 1300 AD, they questioned, why you have to follow like this? Why you have to blindly follow you? Okay, so like that they questioned religious priests also. Okay, and people began to find out new routes and lands. Okay, so trade increased. and they themselves started thinking. Okay, so like that they because of increasing of trade, they find out new routes and land areas also. Okay, and at the same time, in European society, art, painting, sculpture, literature developed. So, like that, science also developed in that period. Okay. So, people, when they started thinking and they questioned them, they questioned their landlords and church authorities, and also they developed in all aspects like sculpture, painting, art, literature, and science also developed. So, like this, after 1300 AD, in European society, some changes began to develop. Okay, so children, next topic is Renaissance. See the textbook. For example, to know the history, we need some sources, isn't it? In last classes also, in previous classes also, we studied about the past history. For example, Indus Valley civilization. How do we know this? Through some books, literature, sculpture, and broken buildings and broken vessels. Through these sources, we can understand the history. Like that, here also about European history. There is a vast material from the 14th century, like documents, printed books, paintings, sculptures, buildings, textiles, all this. So, through all these things, we can understand the history of the Europe. Okay. Here, historians used the term Renaissance from 19th century to describe the cultural changes of this period. And here Jacob Burckhardt, he was a Swiss scholar. That means he is from Switzerland. He wrote a book that is The Civilization of the Renaissance in Italy. The Civilization of the Renaissance in Italy. He wrote this book. In this book, he wrote how humanists culture had developed in Italian towns. Humanism, it was a new belief. It was a new belief that man as an individual was capable of making his own decisions. Understand? Hospital. Next, the revival of Italian cities. The revival of Italian cities. We already discussed in Italy, first trade increased after 1300. Trade increased with the expansion of trade between the Byzantine Empire and the Islamic countries. The ports on the Italian coast revived. Observe the picture. This Italy throughout the coast areas, main cities are there, and between Byzantine Empire and the Islamic countries, and the ports on the Italian coast also revived because of trade. From the 12th century, as the Mongols opened up trade with China also, and as trade with Western European countries also increased. Italian towns played a central role. They no longer saw themselves as part of a powerful empire, but as independent city states. In Italy, two main towns, Florence and Venice were republics, and many others were port cities ruled by princes. And one of the most vibrant cities was Venice, another was Genoa. They were different from other parts of Europe. The clergy means members of the church. Clergy means members of the church, means those who work in the church, like priests, bishops, cardinals, and the pope. They were called as clergy. The clergy were not politically dominant here, not nor were there powerful feudal lords. Rich merchants and bankers actively participated in governing the city, and this helped the idea of citizenship to strike root. Even when these towns were ruled by military despots, the pride felt by the town's people in being citizens do not weaken. Next topic is humanism and universities. Humanism and universities. The literature of the ancient Greeks had reflected an interest in life. They had been vitally interested in the world in which they lived. Later, students of the ancient Greek literature, which dealt with the nature and interest of man, were called humanists. They became interested in this world rather than in a future life as the scholars of the Middle Ages had been. Everything in nature, science, and the arts that affected man now was important to the humanists. In 1453, Constantinople was overthrown and the Turkish or Ottoman Empire took the place of the Eastern Roman Empire. Many of the educated men who spoke Greek fled to Italy for safety. Some of them brought their Greek books with them. This increased interest among Italians in the ancient Greek literature and language, so that it became quite the fashion in Italy to know a little Greek. Humanism started in Italy but soon spread into France, England, and the Netherlands. Universities were established to teach new subject law and religions. Educated men became interested. One of the greatest of these was the Dutchman Erasmus. He studied earnestly the New Testament in the original Greek and the writings of the early Greek Christians. He criticized some of the beliefs of the church, which he said were based on superstition, in his book Praise of Folly. Praise of Folly. During the Renaissance, the humanist scholars acquired the books from the Arabs and retranslated them into Greek and Latin and studied them. Next topic, artists and realism. Artists and realism. The humanist ideas extended to art and architecture also. In the sphere of visual arts, like painting and sculpture, this took the form of realism. Artists observed nature, the people and places around them, and sought to represent them as they were. This was very different from the spirit of the religious art promoted by the church in the feudal times. The religious art emphasized religious themes and depicting people and things according to some ideal forms. Art was supposed to represent those ideals and not the reality around them. Now, the artists of Renaissance began to portray themes from around them, from Greek and Roman literature, which showed the feelings, power, and strength of human beings. One implication of this trend was to study the real world of nature and human beings. Artists also began to study remains of Roman culture, their buildings, sculpture, etc. Their admiration for the figures of perfectly proportioned men and women sculpted so many centuries ago made Italian sculptors want to continue that tradition. In 1416, Donatello broke new ground with his lifelike statues. Artists' concern to be accurate was helped by the work of scientists. To, to study bone structures, artists went to the laboratories of medical schools. Andreas Vesalius, a Belgian and professor of medicine at the University of Padua, was the first to dissect the human body. This was the beginning of modern physiology. See here, one picture is there. Hands, praying hands, praying hands. This sketch by Dürer means praying hands gives us a sense of Italian culture in the 16th century when people were deeply religious but also had but also had a sense of confidence in man's ability to achieve near perfection and to unravel the mysteries of the world and the universe. And many artists like Leonardo da Vinci studied human anatomy so as to make their painting and sculpture realistic. Painters found that knowledge of geometry helped them understand perspective and that by noting the changing quality of light, their pictures acquired a three-dimensional quality. See this picture. One picture is there. This is called Paita. This picture is called Paita, and this is by Michelangelo. Michelangelo. This statue, the Paita by Michelangelo, depicts Mary holding the body of Jesus. Like this, after 1300 AD, in all aspects, people developed. The use of oil paint as a medium of painting also gave a greater richness of color to paintings than before. In the colors and designs of costumes in many paintings, there is evidence of the influence of Chinese and Persian art. Thus, anatomy, geometry, physics, as well as a strong sense of what was beautiful gave a new quality to Italian art, which was to be called realism and which continued till the 19th century. The church too now encouraged the new art. Popes and other leaders of the church commissioned great artists like Michelangelo and Raphael to paint for them and also design buildings for them and even make elaborate graves and memorials for them. See this picture. This picture is called Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa. Leonardo da Vinci had an amazing range of interests from botany and anatomy to mathematics and art also. He painted the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. One of his dreams was to be able to fly. He spent years observing birds in flight and designed a flying machine. He signed his name Leonardo da Vinci, disciple of experiment. Next topic, architecture. The city of Rome revived in a spectacular way in the 15th century. The popes actively encouraged the study of Rome's history. They studied the ruins of old Roman buildings to revive the old Roman style, which used tall pillars, arches, and domes in buildings. Their total architecture is different from other architectures. This inspired a new style in architecture, which was actually a revival of the imperial Roman style, now called classical. Popes, wealthy merchants, and aristocrats employed architects who were familiar with classical architecture. Artists and sculptors were also to decorate buildings with paintings, sculptures, and reliefs. Another remarkable change was that from this time, artists were known individually by name, not as members of a group or a guild as earlier. Some individuals were skilled equally as next. See this picture, St. Peter's Square and the Basilica. This church and the court in front of it was designed by several artists, including Michelangelo and Bernini. This uses many architectural ideas from ancient Rome. Some individuals were skilled equally as painters, sculptors, and architects. The most impressive example is Michelangelo, immortalized by the ceiling he painted for the Pope in the Sistine Chapel. The sculpture called the Pieta and his design of the dome of St. Peter's Church, all in Rome. Filippo Brunelleschi, the architect who designed the spectacular Duomo of Florence, had started his career as a spectacular Duomo of Florence, had started his career as a sculptor. Italian architecture in the 16th century copied many features of imperial Roman buildings. Children, now I am going to give you some homework from this uh, lesson. See, first, what is called feudalism? What is called feudalism? Second question, who dominated the peasants? Who dominated the peasants? Next, what is known as Renaissance? What is known as Renaissance? Next question, who wrote the book The Civilization of the Renaissance in Italy? Okay, write answers in your notebook.